call this meeting of the Gilchrist County Board of County Commissioners to order. It's January the 6th, 2025, entering a brand new year. Appreciate everybody showing up and coming today. If you would like to participate, we have a time at the beginning of the meeting and we have a time after, so feel free to come up and address the board on anything that you might have. I'm going to ask Brother Commissioner Smith to lead us in our prayer this evening, and I've asked Commissioner Sharon Langford to lead us in the pledge to the flag. So if you'll silence your devices, we'll begin with that.
Pray with me. Father, we're so thankful for the good day. Just thank you for each blessing that you give us. Thank you for just the ability and opportunity to live in Gilchrist County. Thank you for the good people we have here and all the beautiful natural resources. And just pray that you continue to bless us, be with us today as we have our meeting. You consider the business of the county. Help us, give us wisdom in that. Help us make the best decisions in light of your will and also for the people of the county. And just pray you continue to be with our country, our leaders, particularly those in New Orleans, lost loved ones. And just pray that you be with them and comfort them. Continue to be with us, Father, as we seek to do your will. Christ, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any agenda changes?
Mr. Chairman, I have a couple here. First is if we could add about fireworks for Centennial, and also we need to discuss the legislative delegation that's coming up.
Okay. Anybody have anything else?
Agenda with noted change.
Second. Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Thomas and a second by Commissioner Martin to approve the agenda with the changes. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, how about the consent agenda? Everybody had a chance to look at that?
I have one comment, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
The 11/18/2024 BOCC minutes at item 14B under the clerk's report. I believe we need a little, let's take a look at that. See if I can get over there to you. Yeah, under the clerk's report, item 14B says certification of hours, minutes, motion by Commissioner Tommy Langford to approve the certification of hours. I think you might want to have some clarification as to what that is, what that certification of hours refers to.
It's the letter that's included in the minutes. Whenever you go to the agenda. Yeah.
In other words, you know what that is.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I see what you're saying. We'll put an addendum in there that clarifies.
And that was a certification of hours as to what, Mr. Clerk?
For the library.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep.
It just caught me because I couldn't figure out what we were certifying there. That's all I had on those. Now, I did have one other thing.
I have a question too. On the ship request, the ship down payment, it's $40,000. It seemed like every time in the past it's been around 25. Has it went up to $40,000 on closing costs?
No, sir. That's not necessarily your closing costs. What that is, it depends on your income is what you qualify for. It's somewhere from around $28,000 up to $40,000. So the lower your income, the more you can qualify for. Most of the ones that we have people qualify for don't reach the $40,000 anymore. Most of them are around the $28,000 mark, I think, is what we've been having. But that's why that one's at $40,000. That's what they reach the qualifications for.
But it can go up to 40.
40, that is the max. 40 is the max.
Okay.
I have a question on the mobile communication.
Mm-hmm.
it says grant funded, so there was no match on our part at all.
No, ma'am, that was from the appropriations grant. And also, while you're on that invoice, I want to point out one thing. If you'll notice, I think the date on that invoice is around May of last year. But the reason we're just presenting that invoice is there were some charges on there that had to be removed, but instead of doing a credit or what, they just corrected that, changed that invoice and resent it. But, so it's actually from this year, but that's the purpose of that being delayed. But yes, ma'am, there's no match. It's
Thank you.
100%.
Okay, any further discussion?
I have one under the Hicks Spring Ridge invoice.
Mhm.
I think this probably got posted before the engineer or the construction manager had approved on that. I see the certificate of payment section,
Mhm.
amount certified, and there's not a signature there from your engineer. But I think you sign them sometimes there, but I didn't see where that had been done, and I just assumed that maybe this got online before that had an opportunity to have been.
Well, we have someone doing the CEI, and we received an email from them approving it. So
Good
we
deal.
can attest, okay.
So we do have that in
Yes,
this.
yes.
Okay, any more discussion?
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Smith to approve the consent agenda.
I would like to add with the noted changes that was presented by, the
Clerk.
clerk of court there.
Okay, and that includes the noted changes. You okay with that, Bill?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And pass. Okay, it's time for public participation. You have an opportunity now, you have one at the end of the meeting. Anybody like to address the board at this time? Ms. Walker's gonna be first. State your name for the record.
Question one, there was an event held at the radio, to which, I live pretty much directly across the road. Never before in the 20 years has there been an event like that event. It ended up being just a birthday party, but, it was a very elaborate birthday party with a professional lights, professional sound, a professional LED screen that probably, was similar to something you see at Florida Field. We held our, we didn't call until after 10 o'clock. My house is poured concrete block, poured sill. You could hear it in my house. Brett's house, Pop Tom's house, Ricky Reed's house, all closer than mine, and all wood frame. You could hear it at your house. I know you could. I talked to, let me just see your list. I woke Bobby up, Crosby, Scotty Douglas, Robert Willis, Bobby Schultz, Kenneth Thomas, Bill Martin, Sharon Langford, the dispatch non-emergency number multiple times, and Brett Colson, death. I was assured by 5 people after 10:30 that it was going to be shut down. I didn't ask for it to be shut down. I asked for it to be lowered. At midnight, I was sitting in the parking lot at the rodeo. Pop Tom Gray Lane could see the video in their bedroom. The sound from the rodeo arena, usually, the speakers are like this. They're up in the top. So whatever I hear at my house is muffled. You can't make it out. It's just, this was a professional outfit that came in there with speakers around the rim of the arena. So all the sound came out. that circle is how far I had verified sound, 2.25 miles. And they could tell what it was. That's too loud. And at 10:30, we started calling. We waited till after the noise ordinance. If I'm in my house, I can't imagine what their houses sounded like. And there's young kids in several of those houses who are already asleep. That we have to put some meat in the contract that Miss Bobby Frosty called Mr. Pelletier, right? And he indicated that he would call the person.
He did. He has reached back out there.
So here's my take on what happened, and I'm going to take this up with somebody else later on, is it was a reserve deputy maybe that rented the arena. So every time I was told somebody was going out there, it was the buddy-buddy system, which I don't think the sheriff or Scotty or Willis or any of them knew. It's my assumption. Turn it down. It's too loud. If you can hear something 2.25 miles, and the reason I know that is because the people that live behind Mr. Doug Beach said to me later, hey, we had a text going all the way around the neighborhood trying to figure out where the noise is coming from. They thought it was in one of their adjacent neighbors' homes.
It's about 4 or 5 miles, probably 4 or 5 miles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how low.
I thought it was my neighbor.
It was the regular, but in 20 years, I never, not the circus, not the motorcycle man in the cage, nothing compared to the noise that we heard that night. So I'm up here on behalf of one mad son, one upset husband, an aunt and an uncle, the neighbors, and the Doug Beach neighbors. Please, put some meat in that contract or let him have, or somebody, do something. Sherry answered her phone at midnight.
I had to walk outside to get signal.
Yeah. And I kept Bobby up for several hours. But anyway, please, there's a noise ordinance for a reason.
My question is, if you're at that event, how do you decide what you're hearing?
I don't
If
have,
you can hear it 2.5 miles, it's gotta bust your eardrums if
I
you
don't
hear it.
know how they heard it, but there had to be 500 people there.
And why does it have to be that loud?
Exactly.
Well, don't you have to have a permit from the county if there's more than so many people in an event?
Not necessarily at like at the arena or somewhere that's already an event type facility. But, you know, like Michelle said, we've never had that issue before. I did reach out to Mr. Pelletier, and he's like, I'll call him right now. And he actually reached back out to me, said I spoke to the person who had rented it. So everybody made a try.
At least 4 people.
The big thing is it should have just been shut down. I
Right.
mean, with our current noise ordinance, you should have been able to just go in and say, you know, we don't want to
Shut it down.
continue having your party, but you've got to bring this down to a level, or turn the music off, stay and have your party, but bring it down to
And
a.
that was
Because
my
when you called me,
but
then, because I called you back, I called the non-emergency number and they said somebody was out there now. They should have been out there.
and they were there, because I died
Right
out
away,
there,
and they
Brother
should have shut it
Larry
down.
sat in that parking lot until they turned the music off. It was so loud.
Is that code enforcement or sheriff's department? Or both?
Sheriff's Department.
Sheriff's department?
Now, I mean, code enforcement can write a violation for it, but normally your noise ordinance is enforced by the sheriff's department because it's from 10 PM to 6 AM. So that's usually done by the sheriff's office, but, sorry. But, But, you know, and I've, in fairness, I mean, I've seen them go to noise ordinance calls before and have to turn around and go back 30 minutes later. And finally, you know, I mean, they try to give everybody an opportunity to turn it down,
Sure.
but they have to go back again and they start writing tickets and that type of thing. But,
So for 2 hours, we were, we were the only ones, so, there were multiple people that called. But, yeah, so this confusion, conferences,
So Bobby, you wanna, I mean, I'm guessing you got some ideas on how we change, the language we've got with those folks that are overseeing the arena?
well, I think probably what we need to do is I probably need to get with Mr. Pelletier, cause I mean, he did even talk to me the next day about it. And just ask him to include in his rental agreement with those people that our noise ordinance, and I can give him a copy of it, and he can put it with it, and he can include right in there that according to such and such ordinance number, all noise must stop or be at a moderate level at 10 p.m.
Imagine if a professional DJ drove us out there, you know, because it was in the afternoon when they got there. We happened to be going by when they were doing the test and all that. And if a professional DJ drove up out there and said, "This is the world," I could see how loud this thing would go. Where's what he did?
But I think that would be the thing to do. And the reason I say put it in there, we have the rules in place. We've got to enforce the rules. But the other thing that would do is it would actually be in the contract that they sign or whatever. And then they know it. I mean, they know it as well. So they can plan accordingly.
Then you can avoid some violations
Right.
a lot better if they're aware of it.
Yeah. So I can get with him on that. He's been really good for me to
Yeah.
talk with him.
I got the building right there. He is there all the time,
Oh, yeah.
working, cleaning, doing something.
It looks
I think
fabulous.
I think that's a good deal for y'all. But his hands were tied. He did all he could do. We need someone.
Thank you for letting us do that. You know, okay.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Rosemary McDaniel from Waukesha Lake. I can certainly empathize with the previous speaker. I wanted to ask what was happening with the noise ordinance. Back in 2022, there were quite a few proposed changes to the existing ordinance. I went online yesterday and I couldn't find any newly published ordinance. One of the things that was proposed was eliminating you couldn't have noise from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I think that was going to be eliminated because a lot of people are disturbed by a lot of music going on with neighbors. As the population grows in this county, we're going to have more and more of this, so it's very important to take into consideration the people that live here and would like to live in peace and quiet. So if the new ordinance has not been published with the proposed recommended changes, maybe you need to revisit that again. It is 2025, so things move fairly slowly. The last time I believe I spoke about this was in 2024 or 23. The other thing I wanted to speak about was for many years, firearm safety is my big thing. And we have all these little backyard ranges. So someone, a wonderful person, Mr. Mason, built a beautiful range where exactly what we needed, where people could go and sight in their firearms and practice, et cetera, and it was turned down. The special use permit was denied. I didn't understand that. I wasn't here during any of the discussion about it, but I did read about it, and I said, that doesn't make sense, because you could have a 6-acre parcel with 5 acres on it, and everybody could have a backyard range, and everybody could be endangering all their neighbors. Not counting the noise factor. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. But noise is a growing problem. It's not gonna get better, so. Any questions? No? Okay. Said my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Good afternoon, my name is Adam Elliott. I believe I passed out with the problem. Thank you. Okay, so I'm here representing Swan River Fair as a treasurer, and after get familiar with all the budgets for the fair, the way that we operate the fair, it's come to our attention that we need to start charging all entities a base fee for the fair. So we just took an example of Adelia in 2023, FEMA and other agencies used it for a month, and it was for all 3 counties to use the system. And we just took the utility fee of the electric water to divided it by 4, and we're trying to ask each county to pay 25% of the $680. You don't have to pay it, but moving forward, any entity that's going to use our facility is going to have to pay it. The kids are charged on the sales commission, 10%, 13%, and that's what the operating cost is to keep it running. And with the increase in facility, the liability, insurance, stuff like that. Spoke about probably 2 years ago about if there's some sort of FEMA that could put like a retainer or a holder on it, and it could be like 50 or 60 Gilchrist or Tri-County that holds that facility, say, hey, here's X amount of dollars for a 30-day window, so you set it up, and you can have free use of it for any like that.
Wouldn't FEMA be willing to reimburse them if it was used for the storms and stuff?
I would think so. I would think that there is a.
So we don't know who to reach out to, so we just send it to the commissioners. There's other representatives going to Dixie and Levy, speaking the same thing, so.
Well, we usually get reimbursed on storm damage type things if we use a piece of equipment or we use a facility, and we can get reimbursed through FEMA.
Yeah.
But we have to have some type of invoice, isn't that correct? We have to have some type of invoice. So if you presented invoices to us, you can ask FEMA to reimburse you, and you can get reimbursed directly from FEMA.
Okay.
I mean, that's the way it works. Is I correct in speaking here? I don't want to speak out of with incorrectness, but
We would probably need to have a meeting with Adam as well, because also certain facilities for us to be reimbursed, unless they do it a certain way, they have to be on a list that we have. Now, it's real easy to put it on a list for depending on what we're using it for. Naturally, we couldn't put it on there as a shelter, but we could probably put it on there as a recovery or something like that. So what we really need to do is get with you, because I will tell you, I would think that FEMA always has a fee set for this kind of stuff, what they pay, and it'll be much better than what you're asking for
Yeah.
here.
We didn't want to ask for a lot, because we
Right.
said this is a 30-day window.
Yeah. What would really be great, and next time FEMA reaches out to you to use that building, say, hey, let me give you a call right back, and pick up the phone, give Ralph a call, or either me if you can't get him. And what we will do is get a hold of, we have someone assigned to us.
Yeah.
We'll get a hold of that person to make sure it goes through the right channel, so you guys get your money. We can put a request in, what's it called? web EOC.
Okay.
And we can facilitate this the proper way. And then it might be the county that pays you, but they'll reimburse the county, but we'll get all of that figured out.
That
for
should
you.
definitely be
Yeah.
taken care of. That shouldn't fall on the burden of the kids.
Yeah.
Or on the burden of the fair itself. We would like to reimburse you your expenses, but we have a protocol we have to go through to do that. So, like you said, next time, if there is a next time,
And I just mentioned to Ralph about like maybe putting like a retainer or something like that, that he's got first dibs on it. Because we have 7 or 8 other agencies throughout the community, so say Duke Energy or somebody else in South Florida, they wanna come up here and use the facility, and it's some, you know, if FDAC going through this first come, first served, you know, because we can use it for 10 different things, you know,
Why don't we sit down,
have a workshop.
yeah, and let you and I and Ralph get together and let us talk about it. And then let us run it through our, we've got some PAs that assist us with some of the FEMA stuff.
Okay.
And let's find out what the best avenue is to maybe, it may be exactly the way you're talking. It may be a different avenue we gotta go, but we'll see what we can get figured out.
Okay.
Okay?
we appreciate.
But I
y'all.
do agree that y'all should get
offering the
reimbursed for
facility.
the use. Yes.
The second thing is a little bit easier, so on behalf of the, Gilchrist County Fair Boosters, we've got an event January 25th at the fairgrounds at 6:30. So we're gonna be having a dinner fundraiser, and, we're gonna invite everybody in the community and business owners. And, we're starting to sell some tickets, $20 a person, free sale, $25 at the door. You can be a table sponsor for $250, get you 8 tickets. Pass the word around to anybody in the community, good job. The kids will have basket items, different items over the auction off line, while we're there. But it's just an event so that the kids, 4-H, FFA, throughout the community, can interact with the sponsors to help, you know, support them through the market animal project. Last year, 2024, we had 127 kids that had market animals from Gilchrist County. The boosters were able to support 75 of those. At the tune of about $820 per kid.
That's awesome.
Our fundraiser.
What was the date again? I'm sorry.
25th.
25th.
It's on a Saturday.
6:30, right?
Yes, we're gonna have a pork dinner and all the fixings and desserts by all the best cooks and bakers in the county.
I was still writing down our first conversation.
All right.
So, Adam, we appreciate what you and all do to volunteer for the fair and otherwise, for sure.
Oh, there's a lot of volunteers. It ain't just me.
Yeah, I know.
Everybody's kitchen and churches, and it takes quite a
But
bit.
a lot of us have done some of this in the past, and they understand how much of a sacrifice it is, and we appreciate what you're doing. Back to the cost of facility, Bobby, I'm wondering, how long will it take us to figure out if FEMA can reimburse them or not? And if it's gonna be a while, I'd be willing to support, reimbursing them, hoping that we get reimbursed or something.
They're not gonna get reimbursed, I'll tell you, that's over. There's no way to get that reimbursement for what they're requesting. It's been from FEMA.
Yeah.
You know, we have a storm account that we set some money, I mean, you're looking at $681.25. If the board wanted to approve for us to write a check for $681.25, I could simply take this and pay it from this, and we can pay it out of what we already have budgeted, for this year.
I think you need to do that. I
I
mean,
guess if
we
y'all
need
make a
your
motion
facility.
that it's okay to pay that, then we can use this as an invoice and we'll just process it and pay the $681.25.
I'd make a motion, then we
Different
we
invoice,
pay
I
it.
can have
No,
that.
this is
This will work.
sufficient, it's sufficient.
Yeah, I make a motion, we pay the, $681.25 for our part.
Second.
Out of our storm account?
That's going to-
I don't have a problem with that. What actually went on at the fairgrounds as far as the storm? Was it FEMA set up there?
FEMA was
Yeah,
there.
so there was FEMA and other agencies.
And they didn't offer to reimburse you?
No.
Wow,
So
that
it was-
surprises me.
This was a kind of a,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
they haven't used the facility before. They moved in there and then, they were set up, and then other agencies, insurance companies, other relief people were coming in there and they used it at the whole
The whole
property.
Tri-County
property.
area
Yeah.
used it. I knew things were going on there, but I didn't know exactly what was going on
Kind
there.
of got a head count from it was like 1,500 people to 2,000 people a day coming through there to get resources and get the services and stuff like that.
Yeah, we really need to,
I don't think you have one. He had emailed it to me, so what I will do is I'll email Karen and you a copy tomorrow for your records for this. Miss Sharon give you her? Okay. And then I'll take the one I have and process it for payment.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner, Darrell Smith and a second by Commissioner Sharon Langford to, approve the invoice for $681.25 to the, Swanee River Fair and Livestock Association and reimburse them for this expense. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, I don't see any constitutional officers, so we'll go to our county administrator and.
We have a 4:30 time certain.
We do, don't we?
Okay.
What time is it, 4:30?
4:30.
We do have a 4:30 time, sir. Thank you, sir, for reminding me. Okay, go down there. Purchasing policy, Duke, you wanna handle that for us?
Yes, I'll handle that. The board had advised me at the last meeting that they would like to have the policy amended, the credit card policy, to authorize a credit card for the community paramedic. So what you have before you is resolution number 2025-01. It's a resolution of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, amending section 2.2 of the Gilchrist County policies concerning use of county credit cards by adding the Gilchrist County Community Paramedic as an authorized user of a county-issued credit card, establishing a $2,000 limit for use of such credit card, and establishing an effective date. And that's reading by title only, Mr. Chairman.
Motion to approve resolution number 2025-01.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion by, Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second by Commissioner Smith to, approve resolution number 2025-01. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Okay, we'll go back to the county administrators until 4:45. We got another time certain at 4:45.
Yes, sir. The first item on my agenda today is, we have Mr. Grant Harold here with the, UF Mobile Outreach Clinic. He had reached out to me, and they have provided some care in Gilchrist County or in the Trenton area. And they have recently lost some funding, so he would like to present, he had a PowerPoint to you and explain to you what they actually do.
Good afternoon. Day job, I actually practice down the road at US Family Medicine, Old Town. Gilchrist County down there, but when I'm not doing that, I'm the medical director of our mobile outreach program. And we've been doing a rural outreach for about the last 18 months, about the last year in the Tri-County area, and that's specifically what I'm going to talk about. But I'll give you a little bit of some background on our mobile outreach clinic program. This control is good.
Check the one on the right. They're having to do this one
Okay.
separately.
No, this is great. The last time I went to present, I didn't have access to the PowerPoint. This is a picture of our team, and on our left, you'll see the Sprinter van, and that's our specific vehicle that we use for our rural outreach, which comes both to Trenton and to Bronson. We were at other places, Waldo, Hawthorne, but we've actually been migrating westward because the demand is so much higher out in the Tri-County area, which is one of the things I'm going to talk about in a little bit. On the right is our main bus, which is where we do most of our last based outreach. But that Sprinter van on the left has a patient care space, so exam table, lab area, all of the things needed to provide patient care. state. And in Trenton, we've actually been parking at the Iglesia Adventista Church, and they've also been providing parking for the state. So just to give you a quick understanding of kind of what our general mission statement is. So we're specifically in the game of reducing health disparities for those that don't have insurance or underinsured and are low. So we have a special focus not just on delivering healthcare, but as probably most everyone in this room is aware, there's a lot of social factors that play into whether somebody's able to actually participate in their healthcare or achieve their health goals. And so we take an extra focus on those. So if you don't have transportation, if you don't have access to food or housing, we take all of that into consideration as we try to help meet those social needs, in addition to providing primary care. And we also do a lot of education, but we don't do that out here in our rural programs. We don't bring students out here yet. So down bottom middle is what the sprinters is being fixed. So all the various things that we do here. So as I mentioned, we do education. We do community health worker training. We have a street medicine program that operates just in Alaska County. That's delivering care on the street. So we do telehealth and home visits mainly in Alaska County. And we're considered national leaders in local health and have been doing this since 2011. So we serve about 2,000 patients a year, and all of our care is for free. Of course, we don't see Medicare patients because they're insured. So most of our patients are 18 to 64, don't have any type of you can see all of it. We deal with folks that don't have.
I have one question on that last slide. When you look at it, Gilchrist County is not a highlighted county.
That's because it needs to be updated.
How many have you served in Gilchrist County? I know you said 2,000 for the Central Florida.
That's including, so that's everyone we see as a part of our program.
So you don't break it down like how many Gilchrist?
In the last year, we've probably seen around 100 in Gilchrist. Yeah, we average about 10 visits per session.
And this is
So
based
maybe
on income then also?
What's that?
Based on property income, like how much a household makes?
It's not, it's based on ability to access help, so lack of insurance, isn't it? So if you lack insurance, I mean, if you lack insurance, you can have a great income and still not be able to afford that. So it's mostly about lack of insurance. That overlaps with income fairly tightly, and so that's why essentially everyone is less than 200% of poverty. We don't hold that as a strict, if you come and you've got a job that puts you above 200% of federal poverty, but you're self-employed, can't afford insurance, whatever it is, we're not going to turn you away. We will see you. And in fact, if somebody shows up with Medicaid saying, I haven't been able to establish with primary care because whatever, I'm having issues finding a provider that will accept it, we of course see those folks. We work with them to try and connect them with providers who will accept them. But essentially we don't turn anybody away. The people who become our continuity patients are uninsured or underinsured. People with terrible deductibles, that they can't afford. Yeah, so sorry, I will update that to highlight both Levy and Gilchrist. And we also do some things in Swanee. I won't belabor this. Basically, we have a couple of nurse practitioners that split a full-time job. Those are our main care providers. We have a nurse. We have 2 drivers who double as intake folks. We use resources very, very wisely. We do a lot of care with a very small amount of staff. So there's a star by Trenton. You can see that. That is my updated map. So Trenton, Bronson are where we're going. We were going to Waldo. We still go to Micanopy once a quarter. We don't get near the demand as we go up there. And actually, I send patients from my own practice in Old Town when they lose insurance. I tell them, come down to Trenton or Boston on X Tuesday of this month and get seen, or if they have family members like that.
Dr. Harrell, how do we mainly get the word out to potential patients? Is that through the Department of Health or?
So there are a bunch of different ways. So we've been, in this area, we've been working with an organization called the Rural Women's Health Project.
Okay.
They do a lot of community engagement with folks that are lower income, lack access to care, and so that's who does a lot of our community engagement. Actually, so is Allison from CRP, is she community resource care medicine for Gilchrist as well? Or I know she's with Dixie. I don't know if she shared. You're the share, okay. So I need to talk with you. So that was going to be my next strategy for sort of getting the word out, because we've done a pretty good job of reaching the population that Rural Women's Health Project is particularly engaged in, but I think we're missing some parts of the county and other populations. And in Dixie County, I know the CRP, Allison, has been helpful in reaching some different police stations. So I'm going to get his information. But yeah, great question. Community engagement, super important. That's kind of how we get it work. But there's all different ways we can disseminate information. The Department of Health is, of course, a great way. So just to give you a quick rundown of what we can actually do on our mobile unit. So we are a primary care service. We're not just doing health fairs and checking blood pressures. Like, we do the full scope of care. So we diagnose and treat acute and chronic conditions. We manage medications. We do point-of-care testing. We do reproductive health, things like intrauterine devices. We can refer for lots of diagnostic services, some of which we can provide for free. We actually are very good at getting folks signed up for financial assistance programs. We do have health. We basically bat 1,000 on that. And so once we get somebody enrolled in that, they have access to the full range of diagnostic services offered by U.S. Health. It does require traveling to Gainesville, unfortunately, because as you all are probably aware, U.S. doesn't have any diagnostic services out there. But we can get folks access to those services for free. We can do simple procedures. If you come in with an abscess, we can drain it. You know, if you need a simple biopsy or something like that, we can do that. We do cancer screenings. And again, we fill out patients with these programs for expensive medications or public programs. We do a lot of that. And are very good at that. And we work with community partners like CRP in Alachua County. We work extremely closely with them. So we're used to interfacing with other services in the county to provide assistance for the social service. So how are we funded? So the vehicle was originally funded by an organization called Direct Relief, which is a terrific organization that provides a lot of free pharmaceuticals to clinics that provide free care. And then they sort of developed a funding arm where they essentially get funded by other large healthcare organizations to give out grants to some of their partners, and we're one of their very valued partners. And so we actually got the funding for that Sprinter vehicle through Direct Relief. And actually, we just got a notification since they actually got on the schedule. So just about a week or two ago, we might be able to get some funding for some of the activities that we're talking about. We were being funded by Catholic Charities for this. So that's how this started. Our staffing and operations costs were being funded by Catholic Charities. They've kind of pulled back some, a lot of their various outreach activities. And so we don't have funding from them anymore. And that's kind of what prompted me to start going to the various counties in the Tri-County area to start to have a conversation about how we can raise funding to continue to sustainably provide medical care to folks who aren't covered. We're 85% grant funded. I know that's got to be shocking to you because it's the U.S. and you think multi-million-dollar, huge bureaucratic organization. They don't, I mean, the College of Medicine gives us money. It covers about 15% of our budget, but all the rest of this we get from writing grants. So we write grants at the county level, state level. We solicit individual foundations, partners like Direct Relief. We have individual donors. So as sad and as embarrassing as that is for me to say up here as a board employee, it's just the truth. I work hard to try and shame as many people as I can at the top of leadership, and that has not worked. So I don't know why it's supposed to be again. It should say Gilchrist County. Apologize. So we're basically trying to fill those gaps. So we want to continue to provide care out in this area. And we actually want to provide even in more places. I would love to maybe go to Fanning Springs or somewhere where I can kind of grab some Dixie, leave me in Gilchrist. Maybe even, a little further west of B. I'd love to actually maybe get another day in Gilchrist County, maybe Bell or another site where we can assess certain needs in consultation with folks like really PRP to let us know where there's some disparities or lack of care. Just to give you a quick breakdown for the financials, so what does it cost for us to do this rural outreach? So in round numbers, it's essentially $1,000 per clinic. So if I'm going to do a monthly clinic at a given county, it's roughly $12,000 per year. So that covers the nurse practitioner, the driver, the vehicle maintenance, the point of care testing, all of that kind of stuff for general operations. And we typically see about 10 patients per clinic. They're complicated patients because they're folks that haven't gotten a lot of care. They've got a lot of social needs. You've got to fill out a lot of these applications for things, connect them with other care. So it's complex patients. And I never lack for provider interest. I have nurses and nurse practitioners who want to come and work for us and expand our services. I just have to have the money to pay for them. I could probably pretty easily do a clinic every week in each of the Tri-County locations with people who are interested in something that's providing care. I don't have the money to do so.
Is it a walk?
Are you planning on coming out?
I would love to. So right now we come out every Tuesday to one of our rural locations. So right now we're going to Bronson twice a month, here once a month.
And where'd you say it was here in Gilchrist County?
Iglesia Adventista Church, the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Where's that at? Okay. And you go there once a month?
That's right.
Now, is it walk-in or you have to call in?
So we have a system for appointments, and we accept walk-ins. Of course, we encourage folks to call and get an appointment just to guarantee that they're seeing a time and manner. We don't want folks to show up, there'll be a line, and then, we can't see them. So we encourage folks to make appointments. But yes, we do accommodate that. So to give you a quick update, which I didn't have when I initially requested to come and present to you, so that Partner Direct Relief just recently released a request for funding for disaster relief, extending care to areas exposed to the hurricanes in Florida. So we are in the process of applying for a grant, which would hopefully fund 4 days a month for another year in these rural areas. There's no guarantee. Well, there's no guarantee we'll get fully funded. We'll almost certainly get some funding. But again, I don't know how confident I am we'll get full. We'll just have to see. They were fairly vague in their stipulations for what they would allow you to apply for. And that would likely only be for a 1-year term. So I'm still wanting to kind of raise awareness looking to 2026, as we try to figure out a sustainability plan. And I'm not just reaching out to county commissions, I'm reaching out to individual folks in this area that are, wealthier individuals that have maybe a track record of some philanthropy. So I'm basically trying to get all hands on deck to make sure that we can continue to come out here. So January 25th is when we have to submit that application. Certainly I can update folks on how that happens. So it may be that we don't need $1,000. It may be 300 or something. you know, for sites to be able to operate. I'm happy to answer, any of these questions.
I've got a few questions. We have a Palms Medical in Trenton, we have a Palms Medical in Bell, and, their specialty is exactly what you're doing. Is what I've heard is that they serve the those who are in need, those that are uninsured, those, low income, and, if we, what gap are you gonna fill if Palms is already doing that?
So they're a federally qualified health center. So that means they're required by law to have a sliding scale. Depending on how they enforce that sliding scale, that oftentimes still ends up being unattainable for folks. I don't know the details of how they deal with diagnostics on their sliding scale. I know that their sliding scale for being sort of seen by a provider. I don't know if you need additional testing or whatnot, how that impacts cost. But even $10 sometimes can be too much of a barrier for folks to be seen. So yes, also Palms, it's not always necessarily easy to be seen there. I don't want to get into
Right.
details without.
Yeah.
And I know like,
I understand
they do
that.
have that sliding scale because I know we help, you know, kids at school, we have to, you know,
And
help
I
them.
understand sometimes there's a wait. My only concern is, stepping on the toes of our Palms Medical crew. They have actually said, hey, what are we not doing that you want us to do? And I said, well, I want to hear the guy's presentation and see what's going on and see what gap they're gonna fill that isn't being filled. And they said, well, anything they can do, we can also do. Or we would like to be able to at least be given the opportunity to do. And so, that's my only concern. I think what you're doing is absolutely fabulous. I wish there was more of it. I'm big into missions and helping those that are needy and those that are under, but I don't want to step on the toes of our local people since, I think, 1971. Palms has been in this community, and I don't want to step on their toes until I've at least talked to them about different things, and that's my concern right now.
Bill, I've got a similar, question, I guess, and in fact, I reached out to, Dr. Thomas and asked him specifically for some input related to Palms, and he just had some questions that I couldn't answer, and so we appreciate every effort that you're making, and I know they're a good partner with UF and Shands, and I would just suggest maybe we table this or set up some follow-up discussion with you and them and us, however the best way to do that, and see if there's a way to. Can I mention one final piece of information? I imagine most of you are familiar with the Community Health Improvement Plan that the county requires. So without my involvement or any other involvement in that plan, we were drafted as an objective in the county Community Health Improvement Plan, of increasing mobile outreach clinic services. So part of what I'm doing is I'm actually responding to what's officially put into county documentation on their health improvement plan. And that's, you're probably aware the Tri-County essentially drafts one community health improvement plan for the 2 counties, even though each has its own specific plan. So somebody is saying that they want our services out here. It's not me. It's not my staff. I didn't participate in I participated in the Lathrop County Community Health Improvement Plan. I did not participate in any of the Tri-County plan. So for whatever reason, Palms there is some need that they are not meeting. People are showing up to our clinic. That's all, yeah. And again, I definitely don't want to get into commenting about Palms or any of their,
Well, like I said, I think you're doing a fabulous job, and I'm not saying there's not a spot for you, but I would, as Mr. Commissioner Smith said, I'd like to be able to touch base with them and find out if something can be done. I don't know if they work together or you talk about this and they talk. I just would like to bring them in on the conversation because they have been a huge benefit to our community. And again, I don't want to step on toes, bringing in someone to fill a spot that they are already filling. And I was assured that if there's a gap, that they would like at least the opportunity to know about it and see if there was something they could do to fill it. And so that's where I stand right now. I'd like to table what you're talking about, and we can talk about it at the next meeting once we've had a chance to bring in the group from Palms who would like to make a comment on it now that we know everything.
As long as they understand that we don't charge a dime for anything.
Okay, everything's 100% free.
Usually clinics aren't clamoring to get completely unfunded patients. That's why I'm a little surprised. We're usually not, yeah. Usually they love for people to come in and take all their non-paying patients, but even at FQHC, which is predominantly serving a Medicaid population, they still bill private insurance. They still have to keep the lights on.
Like I said, there may be a great spot for you in this community, but before I can say we're gonna spend this money, I would like to be able to talk with them and let them know what the whole deal is.
Well, on this presentation, you say household income has to be, you know,
No,
but it's on the presentation, but yet you're telling me a different thing, so that's kind of,
sorry, that was just saying our demographics
Okay.
are,
Okay,
that is who our
gotcha.
demographics
Okay.
are. We don't,
gotcha.
there are only a couple, like, there's certain counties in Alachua County, like Choices, where you can only serve people less than your, the rest of our grant have no stipulations on them. So the funding we get for out here is absolutely no stipulations. Like I said, we will literally see anybody, but folks who are insured, we try to, so if somebody came on with Medicaid, we would say, our practice is, please try and get connected with home. They will see you essentially for $2 or less. You know, they'll meet you with your Medicaid copay. Please go up to UF Family Medicine Old Town. They will accept your Aetna insurance. You know, even if, so that's our goal.
To work with the,
Of course.
okay, well then,
One way that you're attracting customers is free.
yeah.
So if I had, just say, frozen turkeys to give away, and I said they're free, come get them, everybody in the county will show up. But if I say they're $5 a piece, half of them won't show up because it costs them $5. So that's part of your attraction there, and we all support Palm Medical. I know y'all do too, but I'm right along with these other
And I am.
commissioners. Let's take a look at what they may be not doing.
Yeah.
If I was gonna fund somebody, I would certainly fund them first, simply for the fact they are our people. They've been here for a long time and they do a great job in the county, not saying you wouldn't. If there's a gap or a void, hallelujah, come fill the gap.
Yeah.
But let's sit down and negotiate and talk and see what the issues are. And there again, I know why you attract them. It's free. I think they charge a $20 copay. If you don't have the $20, they're still gonna see you anyway. You may not never have to pay the $20, but that's part of their process, that's part of their system, that's part of their billing, that's part of what they do. $20 in today's world is not a whole lot of money, but free's
You don't
even
have
better.
any.
But free's even better.
Yeah.
And you do offer a great service. I mean, I looked at some of the service that you provide. Man, if I was poor and had a health issue, you're certainly steering me in the right direction and helping me in every way possible to get the health care that I need. Ultrasounds or anything like that, anytime, those are expensive procedures that if you don't have the money, that you just can't do it. It's almost, it's like the doctors and the dentists and everybody else. You know, dentistry's got to the point that people are gonna go around with bad teeth because it's just so expensive. And healthcare is the same way.
Okay, let's just
So we
table it.
appreciate everything you're doing, and I would love for you to come on as a partner
Yeah.
for a place, if there's a place for you, but before I can say yes on this, I need to talk with our partner, so at this
And
time.
Palms has been here, they've helped our community.
Since 1971, they've
Yeah.
been with us.
Commissioner.
So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to table this, this request until our next regularly scheduled meeting, so we can gather some information on it.
Second. Commissioner, before you vote, may I say, if you don't mind, if we could maybe have one of the commissioners volunteer to be on the committee while we're here today. And then also, what I'd like to do, I know you've mentioned Palms Medical, bring our Department of Health, and when we have some staff members that are out seeing a lot of people in the community as well. And I don't think we can get all this done by our next meeting, so you may want to look more to, say, our first meeting in February or something like that, because that's bringing quite a few people together.
Okay, I just know he was under a timeline of,
Yeah.
So let me clarify. We're gonna run out of world funding money in about 5 months. This is not something where we're stopping services.
okay.
Absolutely not. And we may get a year's worth of funding. I may be able to tell you we got a year's worth of funding, so we have a lot more time to brainstorm. I just want to get this on people's radar screens. I'm not begging at the last second saying, we're closing down in 3 weeks, we need your money now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, again, I appreciate everything you're doing. I think it's a fabulous service, but I just want to bring in our partners in the community first to see what gaps can be filled.
And I just did a little math, and you said you see 100 patients in Gilchrist County approximately a year. So that's approximately 170 per visit, where then at Palms, you could do the most, I think you said was $20 versus 170.
So it's about $100 per patient. And Palms is, I mean, this gets into a nuanced discussion about medical billing. What the copay is has nothing to do with the cost of care.
Right.
The cost of care is they're billing Medicaid
yeah.
chargers hundreds and hundreds of dollars, and we're collecting on that. They're also getting subsidies from the federal government for being that PhD, large stuff. So generally speaking, that's so that counties don't have to fill gaps when they're PhD. They federally qualified health centers, they get enhanced funding. So that's why Palms has a business model all over this half of the state. It's not because they're struggling, like, they're everywhere. They have a business model that works. They figured out how to do the administrative burden of being an FQHC, which is the main hurdle. Once you figure out how to navigate those administrative hurdles, you can do fine financially. I love FQHC. I think they're terrific. I support them. Again, one of our providers in Old Town worked at an FQHC for a while before he came to us. I mean, it's the kind of folks that I've worked with my whole career. So I just would be very surprised if they ever view us as competition. When you run I've never been approached by anyone saying they're saying, oh my God, great, please come in. Yes, we have all these folks that are uninsured. We can't keep seeing them. We got to squeeze them into that and the other. We love it. So I just
Like I said, we may be calling you back pretty quick, but I just would like to talk with them first.
Mr.
So I
Chair.
thank you very much, so.
Can I ask a kind of a non-related question, but it is related? We've had discussions about trying to set up an urgent care or some type facility here, and I know it's a different clientele, but just thinking about talking with Mr.
not
Campbell.
different clientele.
Well, anyway, with some of our staff, we send folks regularly to the emergency centers, and it takes up space in our emergency EMS. And so I don't know if we could have a discussion related to some type of facility over here that would help us there.
So I think it's a wonderful idea. I've been in discussions with health systems about bringing specific types of centers to the Tri-County area. Convincing HCA or the University of Florida to build a freestanding facility would be fantastic. We just had an email today from one of our DOOs saying about how they urgently need us to stop sending folks to the emergency room because they're too full. What you are saying is a way of preventing emergency rooms from getting overfilled. The folks in the finance department always look at the payer mix. And so in a place like Dixie County, they look at the payer mix and they say, no, thank you. I don't know in Gilchrist is a little different payer mix. You know, there's a little more folks working for the prison. You got to have Blue Cross and, you know, maybe a little more Medicare. So maybe, you know, maybe the conversation would be entertained. They just built one in East Gainesville, which they view as this wonderful public relations thing, so I don't know how much of an appetite. If it was up to me, believe me, I can make a very good case for it. And my department, Community Health and Family Medicine, is the department running the East Gainesville Urgent Care Center and would be the department responsible for running an urgent care center in the Tri-County area. I think it would be terrific. I think with X-ray and all that kind of stuff, it would be a terrific service. You're all aware that modern healthcare is dollars and cents, unless you want to spend your time writing grants.
Yeah.
And then if you spend your time writing grants and getting money, you can do what you want. But
They just opened one in Alachua.
yeah,
NER.
yeah,
Right there.
and Alachua, as you know, is a economically upwardly mobile area that they see a market for with people with good paying jobs, and it's so.
And Palms Medical just opened down the road from them.
Yeah, and that's probably their second facility out there in that High Springs, Alaska. Yeah. So I hear you. I hear you.
Well, thank you very much. We
Thank
certainly
you.
appreciate you coming in, and we'll look into
My
it.
pleasure, yes. Please, I'd love to just keep the discussion going. And believe me, I'm talking with all of the other county partners because I don't want any one given county. I just expect whatever service we provide for a county, kind of like the gentleman talked about the fair, just want to sort of share if we can.
All right. Great, thank you very much.
I have a motion by Commissioner Bill Martin and a second by Commissioner Smith.
I'd like to
Amend.
amend the motion that I made. I said at their next regularly scheduled meeting, I'd like to take that away, and if we can at our next regularly scheduled meeting, great. If not, we'll take it to the next one. But I just don't want it to die. I don't want it to be left on the table to die there. I want to bring it back up and discuss it some more.
Also, Bobby's asking for a volunteer, if anybody would like to meet with him.
I nominate Mr. Martin.
I will, if y'all would like for me to. I'm not a medical doctor, but I did sleep at a Holiday Inn once, so, so, all right, I'll be on that committee with you.
You're gonna withdraw your motion and make a new motion?
I'm gonna withdraw that motion and make a new motion to table this discussion, to one of our future meetings. I'll leave it at that.
Just leave it open for
I
future.
think if you're tabling it, I think you do have to specify a time.
Okay,
We all gotta meet first, so you might wanna,
okay, I'll move to, table this motion until our until a meeting in February.
February 3rd meeting. We can always bring it back up, and if we're not
Right,
prepared,
and we can push it down the road further if we
Right.
need to. So I'll say our February 3rd meeting.
And I'll second that.
Okay, the motion is to table the item before us until the February 3rd meeting. Allow time for discussion and meetings to go on, and it'll be brought back then. Okay? Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
I was going to recommend Jan Osteen. He mentioned CHIP as, part of the conversation. Jan Osteen, I believe, oversees CHIP in this area for Tri-County. I think she would probably be a good person to bring into the conversation.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Okay.
Yeah,
She works with the health department, though, right?
we'd like to work
Yeah.
with the health department and everybody involved. All right?
Okay, any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
would we wanna put our, paramedic, Mr. Clemens on this committee
Yeah,
also?
actually,
Or
what
any paramedic?
I said, the Department of Health, a commissioner, and our county departments, which would be our community paramedic, our EMS as well.
Yeah.
They see what we face in the community. And we don't see all of those issues and how they're compounded. And so we'll bring all of those together, Commissioner, and
See if
we'll
we can
bring.
get a representative from
And
Palms.
and Palms, of course, and, also Mr. Harold.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We had a time certain at 4:45. Turn that over to Mr. Lang again.
Yes, sir, I'm handling that. Before we begin, I need to file a business impact statement, first with the clerk. This is, ordinance number 2025-01, amending ordinance regulating a time and days of sale of alcoholic beverages in the unincorporated areas of Gilchrist County. Florida statutes now you're required to file a business impact statement. I'm filing this even though I don't think there is any, business impact cost to the businesses with the implementing of this ordinance. So therefore, this statement just says we're filing it to, just as a safeguard so that there can't be any procedural issues raised, by not filing. So at this time, I'm filing this business impact statement with the clerk, and it states the ordinance has no fiscal, or the statement states the ordinance has no fiscal impact beyond that of the regulation of and enforcement of the ordinance. So I'll give that to Mr. Newton. This ordinance that we're going to entertain has been published one time on December the 12th. It was posted in 3 different places in the county, one of which is the front door of the Gilchrist County Courthouse. This ordinance is the result of a binding referendum that approved by 58.32% of the voters in favor of approval of Sunday sales of alcoholic beverages, while 41.68% of the voters were against approval of Sunday sales. So therefore, I'll read the ordinance by title only. We can discuss, and then we can move forward with action from the board. This is ordinance number 2025-01. It's an ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners of Gilchrist County, Florida, amending ordinance number 80-01 and Chapter 6, Section 6-1, as codified of the Gilchrist County Code of Ordinances regarding times and days of sale of alcoholic beverages in the unincorporated areas of Gilchrist County, Florida, providing for adding the additional day of sale of alcoholic beverages during the prescribed times on Sundays, providing instructions to the codifier, and providing an effective date. That's reading by title only. The ordinance that's on the board on page 2 at section 2, item number 2, the existing ordinance has a strike through there that says at no time on Sundays after the hours of 2 a.m. That will be stricken, and the words Sunday between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 midnight will be added, and that actually should be underlined, and I'm going to ask Ms. Karen, since I sent it to her in Word, that we add that, and I'll show her exactly where that needs to go, but it's at section 2, item number 2, the addition there, because when we send these to Municode, matters that are stricken means removed, matters that are underlined mean to be added, and for some reason there's no underline under that Sundays between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 midnight. The ordinance remains essentially identical to the existing ordinance that was in place, except as I state, the existing ordinance says there will be no sales at no time on Sundays after the hour of 2 a.m. That'll be stricken, and it will state that Sundays between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 midnight are approved. So with that being stated, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
This was set up where we wouldn't have no say-so when it was voted on, so.
You made the referendum a binding
Yeah.
referendum
Yep.
based on what the public wanted to do.
We sure
They
did.
voted on it, they approved it, but the state law requires that alcoholic sales in each of the counties within the state be determined by ordinance of the Board of County Commissioners. This only applies in the unincorporated areas. This would not apply in the town of Bell itself, who has its own ordinance in place, which still prohibits Sunday sales.
So does Trent, will.
Trenton has their own ordinance, but they authorize it by ordinance
Now, when will
a
it
couple of
take,
years ago.
when will it take effect?
It'll take effect as soon as we get receipt back from the Secretary of State. When I send this to Municode, when I send this to Karen, Karen will get you to sign this, send it to the Florida Department of State. They'll acknowledge with a letter back to her, and then she sends it to me, and I send it to Municode. As soon as we get that acknowledgement back from the state of Florida, it will become effective. Karen can probably tell you how quickly that normally comes back.
Mr. Chairman, it usually takes them a couple of hours, so I should have it back tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow?
Oh, wow.
Well, some of the retailers is waiting to hear.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's a
that-
very quick process,
That's
though,
fast.
once it goes to Tallahassee and they accept it at the Department of State.
So you let me know
about
That
the
way I
other
can
week.
tell some of them.
Yeah, I just like to, personally, I have not been supportive of this idea, and maybe some others that way. But I do know that, I think we're giving up some of our heritage. And, some things that our forefathers believed strongly in, but I also understand we've decided to do a binding referendum this time, and so, I think that's where we're at.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I didn't, I didn't support it to begin with because, our heritage but we all agreed that this would, be a binding, so.
People of Gilchrist County.
They've spoken and then we said we would, approve it then.
Karen, can we put that, put that back up here and go to page.
Yep. So,
The world we live in.
All right, I move,
Just before you vote on it, I just wanted to go over here and just show Karen. See section 2, item number 2, it says at no time, I have to put my long range glasses on, I can't see.
at no time on Sunday
so that remains
after the
strike.
hours of 2
Yes,
a.m.
that's correct, and what Karen is going to do, since I sent this to her, and before you pass it, I wanted to point this out to you, where it says Sundays between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 midnight, that will remain the same, but it will be underlined, okay? Because you see down there at section 4, where it says language underline is added, language with strike through is deleted. Oh, there's just a scrivener's there.
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
All opposed, same sign. This is fine. You did make a motion, didn't you?
I didn't make a motion.
I thought
but
you did.
Yeah. I
Okay.
didn't, I started to make
Okay.
a motion and then I was cut off and I thought, did we make a motion on that? I don't remember doing it.
I thought
He was he couldn't get it out.
I couldn't get it out quick enough because of all the other
Okay.
things. So
Let's back up. What's the pleasure of the board?
I move to approve ordinance 2025-01 and all the corrections on the scribblers corrections on the ordinance.
Okay. Now, I have a motion by Commissioner Bill Martin. I have a second by Commissioner Thomas that we, pass resolution number 2025.
Ordinance, Mr. Chairman, ordinance.
It's an ordinance, they got the wrong one
Not
up on the
resolution.
agenda.
I see resolution, it's ordinance, okay.
Ordinance.
Just
for the record, me and Bill Martin making a motion, not second to this, is not our opinion, that the people of Gilchrist County.
Right, correct.
There you go.
Okay, any more discussion?
Could I get clarification? The section that's being underlined is that Sundays between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 p.m.?
Will be underlined because that's.
That will be underlined because that's being added.
So you can't sell between 7 a.m. and 12 midnight on Sundays?
You have to go up at the first. Fridays and Saturdays were always authorized between the hours of 7 a.m. and 2 a.m. the following day. So Saturday night bleeds, and Friday bleeds over into Saturday till 2, Saturday bleeds over into Sunday till 2, okay? That stayed the same, no change. At no time on Sundays after the hour of 2 a.m. is being stricken and replaced by Sundays between the hours of 7 a.m. and 12 midnight.
I was trying to get clarification, though, between 7 a.m. and 12 midnight would be all day Sunday. You can't sell between 7 a.m. and 12
You can't.
midnight?
Sunday starts at 12 a.m.
Right, so you wouldn't
Be
be
sold
able,
till 2.
so,
It can't be sold 3, 4, 5, 6 a.m. until 7 a.m. in the morning.
until 7 a.m. in the morning.
And then it starts up again at 7 a.m. until 12 midnight.
okay, so it's saying that it can be sold between 7 a.m. and 12
Right.
midnight on Sunday. Okay, I thought it was saying that was when it couldn't be.
No,
And I was like,
They can't sell it
No, it
before
can be.
7 a.m.
okay.
on Sunday morning.
Yeah, Mr. Lang, the ballot
wanted to make sure.
language said 7 till 12, like we've got it in here.
ballot language said exactly how we have it.
Yep.
With the noted changes, we made that clear.
All
Okay.
clear?
Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. And you'll let me know. Okay. All right. I took care of our time certain. We'll go back to county administrator.
Yes, sir. My next item is under general, be number 6B. There's no action required. It's just for your information. If you'll remember a while back, we submitted under the community block grant for an economic grant to help support TRS Holdings, which is Ellie Ray's. And that is based on number of jobs to create the amount of money. The state did not feel like that criteria could be met, so they declined the application. So that grant, we will not be receiving that money. And
I did talk to Tom Sturgeon, and he had talked with Fred Fox, who wrote the grant, and he said there is an appeal process, so they're gonna appeal it. How far they'll get without us know, but that was the rejection was, didn't feel like the jobs would be there. So, according to him, they're gonna go through the appeal process and see what happens there.
yes.
Well, they were pretty elaborate. They actually wrote the Florida Department of Commerce wrote a 7-page order denying the waiver and justifying their reason for turning it down. So,
This one of them grants where he don't fulfill his obligation, that falls back to the county?
It would, and it was also one of those grants where we said that there'd have to be some type of security bond or letter of credit or something. We never determined what, but before the county would agree to enter into it, there'd be some kind of guarantee that if the criteria wasn't met, that the funding would be there, it wouldn't fall on the county.
yeah, see, the application that he had submitted said that the total cost of the project was gonna be $24,418,529. The actual grant only allowed $1,500,000, and they were asking Department of Commerce to waive that and bring it up to $4,036,187. And they said there was no grounds to increase it by over $2.5 million.
And their appeal process may not.
That's right.
But they're
certainly-
entitled to it.
They're entitled to it, that's
Right.
right, exactly.
Okay?
My next item is C, which is an ARPA grant for $1.5 million. What this grant would pay for would be a generator to service our school and shelter in Vail, and also a shelter in Trenton. There's additional generators to run additional equipment at those two shelters. Mr. Smith put this grant together and submitted it. We were rewarded the $1.5 million. Mr. Smith and I went and spoke with the school. They're excited about the grant. This is a grant, though, that the county will have to administer and be responsible for. There's no match. It's 100% reimbursed. We had a deadline of December the 31st to get this signed and returned. We only had a few days, so we contacted Commissioner Langford as chair. He came in and signed it, and we did get it turned in, so we just need this approved. You want the front?
No, pro-ton.
Pro-ton. Yeah,
Is this
thank you.
going to be an addition to the generators they already have, so they're just going to put in additional generation power?
Yes.
Okay.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Thomas and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the grant for the 2 generators, one at each school. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Ralph, we appreciate
Yeah.
very
And
much.
actually, in the scope, not meaning to interrupt you, Daryl, in the scope, it says expenditures related to the purchase and installation for generators capable of fully powering a school to be used as a shelter.
Yeah.
Must be a strong
It
generator.
won't fully power the school.
Well, that's what they claim there. For $1.5 million, it ought to power something.
Yeah.
Thought I'd add that.
The next item, I have number 7 is Fire EMS. This is oil maintenance agreement. You know, we have equipment that we purchase from Zoll, and annually we buy the maintenance agreement to maintain it. This particular one is $9,919.48. Defibrillators and monitors as well, and we just need approval. We do have the funds budgeted.
Are they holding up the way we'd hoped they'd hold up? Serving the purpose that we were hoping they were gonna serve?
Chief Campbell Fire Rescue. Yes, sir, these are the cardiac monitors that we have on all the trucks. Doing some research too, and we did this. We upped the plan last year to include batteries because it was more cost effective than replacing all of our old batteries. But I will, say too that, going through our list, we haven't purchased a cardiac monitor that wasn't either 100% grant funded or at least 75% grant funded, since I've been here. So all these monitors we've been getting for basically pennies on the dollar, cost 2 or 3 at a time before the state grant money. The maintenance agreement, keeping them up in service, and yeah, I think we have 3 or 4 spare right now. Worked out very well. With this maintenance contract, I'll call them today and say we're down a monitor. It'll be here tomorrow. Worked out very well.
This is a budgeted expense, so I move to, unless there's any more discussion, I move to, approve the maintenance agreement for the Zola, equipment.
Second.
Okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Sharon Lankford to approve the, Zoll maintenance agreement. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
The next is also a letter from sort of the Public Emergency Medical Transportation Letter of Agreement. If you remember, over the last few years, we have an agreement and from the Agency for Healthcare Administration, and they provide us money back because of due of our Medicare, Medicaid type costs. This would, we would receive up to $135,416.54. Again, we were trying to meet a deadline on this one, and actually back in November, we just got the copy back from them on 12/2, so we just need to approve this one also.
Motion approved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Thomas and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the Public Emergency Medical Transportation Letter of Agreement. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
The next item I have is number 8, under Emergency Management, the Northeast 55th Avenue. It's no action required, just information. Just so you know where Northeast 55th is. Most people are familiar with what we call the Osteen Road up by Miss Lucy and Miss Nina Osteen. It comes in on off 47 into Jenny Springs. When that road dead ends, that is 55th that comes around. If you remember, we've had some flooding issues there where we submitted through an HMPG grant, the Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. That was submitted. It was denied. It was not funded. The reason it was not funded is basically they do a value assessment on this, and it's based on how many people live, how many it's going to affect versus what the cost would be. And since there's not very many residents at all down there, and the cost was greater than what they felt, so they denied our approval on that.
That's the road that goes down to our county court there.
Yes, 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 sir.
The last time I was there, Bobby, it looked like the road department had built it up and it's much better shape than it was.
Put
Yes.
a bunch of rock in there too. Pea gravel, remember that pea gravel and all that y'all had put in there?
Yeah, they put a bunch of rock and stuff in, and we're having less trouble with it. But of course, normally when we have that flood is when we get the counter torrential rains that we're gonna have floods in a lot of areas, so, yeah. The next item is under the library. It's appointing of Vinnie Cavallari to the Three Rivers Library Board. You had a letter from Ms. Rhonda Cribbs, the library manager. A little history on Mr. Vinnie Cavallari. He actually worked at the library for a number of years. He retired recently due to his health, but he is very excited about serving on this board to represent Gilchrist County. Miss Diane Clifton held this position for years, but she resigned from the position. So, with approval of the board, we'll notify Mr. Vinnie Cavallari that he would be representing Gilchrist County as a citizen.
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Sharon Lankford and a second from Commissioner Smith to approve the recommendation of Mr. Vinnie for the library position. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
My next is item 10, community paramedic, and let me apologize to Department of Health for keeping them here so long this afternoon. Yeah, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Department of Health, and as you know, we have a community paramedic program which is going very well, and this agreement, they will fund a part-time position to assist Mr. Ryan Clemens, as in the community health operations. This is something this will be their employee. They will be responsible and pay for the employee. However, the employee will have an office at our EOC, working at the EOC as well. So this is, I just wish they wanted to give us about 10 more employees and pay for them. But this is a great deal for the county. I'm going to ask Mr. Ryan in a few minutes to come up and comment a little bit on the community paramedic program and how it's going. But this is a position that is muchly needed, and they're willing to support us in it. And it's a good partnership because it's all about health and the health of people. So.
I wonder if Mr. Clemens is supportive of this or not.
Are you supportive of this?
I think, yes, sir. Right, Clemens is just kind of priority community paramedics, very in support of the, they said that they wanted to find a way to help the program. They believe in it that much.
Thank y'all.
Talked for a few months on how to do that and getting their parents here. And really help people connect to the resources. I can go out, I visit with them, I see what they need, but I don't have 4 hours to go back to my office and spend on the phone, make phone calls. A lot of people care coordination and resource navigation is huge with what we do. Here, time and generally to come up with this.
Awesome.
Quick road with it.
Yep.
I think
Thank
everyone
y'all.
knows Ms. McKellar is here today with you.
Thank y'all.
I think did you write this agreement or did she write this agreement?
That, of course, I was an attorney.
I recognize that, Ryan, as the reason.
The man from US that was in there while ago doing the presentation, do you recommend any people you see to him?
I will be actually moving forward. I have not been able to meet him yet, but I am going to be with the Department of Health, and I am doing their minority health. We're going to do a program. I plan to hit every church in Gilchrist County, but I'm going to start with the Spanish churches, mostly for our minority health. I do believe you may find it.
No, thank you for what you do. We appreciate you.
Yep, y'all do a good job.
Yep.
Yeah, I make a motion, then unless there's more discussion, that we approve the MOU with DOH.
Okay,
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Commissioner Smith and a second from Commissioner Martin that we approve the MOU from, the Health Department in Gilchrist County. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
While they're here, I want to really thank the Health Department and Ms. Nadley. Anything that they have to do with, whether it's environmental, whether it's health, every time we reach out to them, their response is great. They respond quickly, and we couldn't ask for a better partnership. It's really great. It's just nice to know that we have them with us at all times. So it's good to know. And the question has been asked, and we won't go into the discussion today on the upcoming new septic laws and and the combining of that. They actually gave me a contact at the state level. I've reached out to that contact. We're kind of down the list of ways, but they're going to be getting us some information as soon as they know what information to give us. And then we'll be sharing that, and they're even willing to come to discuss that with here. So that program is still being formulated as they go. So, yeah. The next item I have is also under community paramedic, and that is with a Better Together, Strengthening Families, Inc. It's a nonprofit organization. Again, if you have any questions, I can let Mr. Ryan comment on it, but what this is people who have may need certain types of treatments or counseling, they can help them, but enable for them to do that, we have to have an agreement. And also, it's no expense to the county, so.
So Better Together, was an organization that I learned about at, the CHIP meeting to the Gilchrist. But I'm very impressed with them. Their whole goal is to intervene before DCF. I think if you read the statistics, by the time DCF comes into the family, once the family goes in, a child goes into foster care, statistically, they are not going to do well future in life. It's just what it is. Better Together, they try to intervene before DCF has to take children. They do not take custody of the children from the parents. There's another they do. But they also have better jobs, which is trying to put people back in the workforce locally. They're just a great organization. There's no cost to the county. A lot of these MOUs that you will see from me this month and then coming are quite some.
Motion to approve the request.
Second. Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner, Sharon Langford and a second from Commissioner Thomas that we approve the MOU with, Better Together, Strengthening Families Incorporated in Gilchrist County. Is there any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Ron, I have a question for you real quick. If we have a person in the county, elderly, dementia real bad, can't take care of themselves anymore, family don't want to take care of them, how do we get them maybe into errors or some facility that they could take care of? Is there anybody that could walk them through the process or help them go through the process? I don't know exactly how to do it.
So I actually have this wonderful resource of the Alzheimer's Association.
Yeah.
And Miss Shauna is actually the regional supervisor of the Alzheimer's Association. So all of my dementia people get an automatic referral. There's a lot of tricks in that, and then because there is a certain amount, which she can probably tell you better, passing capacity, that gets a little tricky, but there are resources.
Okay.
Resources for it.
Okay. I know her. Well, we've got a situation and we're just trying to deal with it and nobody really knows how to deal with it. And the only help she has right now are just friends, but there's going to be some, involvement in trying to get her somewhere and get her the help that she needs that she's not getting right now.
So my name is Donna Lee. I am a local Gilchrist County resident, but I'm also the program manager for the Alzheimer's Association for Central and North Florida. So we would love to connect with you regarding Back to Her Family. Mm-hmm. We have an entire network of agencies that do everything from just simple information dissemination about what's happening with my loved one. I am observing some memory issues or just asking concerns about myself, all the way through to how do I help the patient? Is it the right time? Mm-hmm. Has the family truly exhausted their efforts? Things like that. And then how do I connect to what will Medicare, Medicaid, or insurance pay for? Mm-hmm. Where am I, is my family going to be Medicaid eligible? Do I need to look at long-term care insurance? Do I need to change my financial outlook? All of those things, all the way up to it's 1:30 in the morning. I am a caregiver and I'm standing beside the bed of my loved one and I'm ready to throw them in the pillow. Please help me out of this. And that is a real situation that happens to our health. We provide a 24/7, 365-a-year helpline for people to call into. You reach a live human being, not an automated system with 14 windows, 12 options, and sand on your head. No. You get a real person that can do everything A to Z immediately over the phone. It's the same agency that we use to help de-escalate law enforcement issues in the field, to stop our elderly people from being Baker acted when it's not appropriate, to just a lot of care activate instances. So you have the right connection, folks. You just didn't know that she lived in your district. So I would love to connect with you directly on that.
Okay.
For anybody, that number is 1-800-272-3900. And that's a number everybody should have in their phone anyway, put it under Alzheimer's Health. and
1-800, would you repeat that?
1-800-272-3900.
Why do you need the number if you can call Donna?
Listen, not everybody has a Donna in their back pocket. You do, y'all do, not everybody does. And I can't be everywhere at once, unless you want to talk about a helicopter. So, but anyway, I would love to speak with you. I work very closely with Ron. Diane and I probably talk 3 or 4 times a week. I'm already working with families. I'm already meeting with families like in my neighborhood and all over Gilchrist County and all the other counties that I cover to do see what they're talking about.
Well, walk me through the process. I give them your number, they call you, you call them, you go out and do a site visit. I mean, how is it gonna
They
work?
call that 1-800 number.
I don't even have to do a site visit. I'd rather you not give out my personal number first. I'd rather not. I'd rather them start with that helpline number. It will get back to me. It will get rerouted back to me, and then I start working directly with that family. And we can start exhausting any level of resources we need to, and just trying to mitigate what's happening. I can't do anything much to help with the actual patient, the person that is living this disease. What I can do is help make the caregiver journey better, help bring the family together, help position them to have a better toolbox, and can make better decisions for an overall long-term.
Okay. And that's 1-800-272-3900.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Or you can call them.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions about
And I will.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alzheimer's is a bad.
You can't get fire rescue. If you feel that you're at a point where she's a danger to herself or somebody else, there is a way to transport by EMS that is not a Baker Act mental health facility hold. Baker Act and patient because of dementia is actually in violation of that statute, it's a medical condition. We can take them to the hospital if they don't have the capacity to refuse our care. We can gently take them to the hospital, case management can get involved in. I think her option is probably going to be a lot better with more resources and more hands-on time. But if you find yourself in a position that's immediate, like this is bad right now, you're not comfortable leaving her house alone, you can always call 911, and if you call me as well too, I'll help facilitate it with that.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate all the information.
Thank you.
It's not a dire need right this minute, but it's getting to that point. So we'll reach out to the ones that y'all give us information on. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Bobby, go ahead.
The next item I have is the Agency for Healthcare LOA. There's really no action needed for this at this time. The Florida Department of Health through the Division of Emergency Preparedness and Community Support reached out to Mr. Clemens, and he provided them a scope of work, and with that scope of work, they came back and asked us if assistance of $66,000 a year towards our community paramedic program would be helpful. So signed a letter telling them yes, it would be. So we're not sure if they're just they haven't given us any more information. We're not sure if we're just gonna receive the $66,000 or if they're gonna actually send us an agreement. So if we get additional agreement, we'll be back, but we wanted the board to be aware that we actually are receiving some additional money. So today we're getting additional money for a community paramedic, and with the health department, they're also helping provide staffing. So good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Way to start the year off right.
Yeah, start the year off right. Thank you.
I had a couple of agenda changes. One of those is fireworks. And what I'm asking here, we know the fireworks are going to be $15,000, and there's not many people that can do this based on the certification and all. A contract came in today, but I haven't had a chance to look at it. We need to get the contract back. You had approved originally for TDC to pay for this. What I would like is permission with Mr. Lang's review of the contract to then contact, if he approves it, contact the chairman, let him go ahead and sign it so we can get this locked down, because Mr. Newton even worked some on trying to get it. You don't have a whole lot of people out there who do fireworks because of the requirements of liability insurance. So if the board will agree, we don't pay for the fireworks till the night of them, so we don't have to pay that bill till that night. But we do need to get the contract in place so that we have that date and time secured.
And that's 15,000 for the fireworks?
Mhm.
And has the board approved that previously? Or they
They
do that
approved,
now?
they probably need to approve the 15,000 as well, but we can bring that back on the 23rd. But we just need to get the contract in to lock down the time. Is our next meeting 23rd or 26th? I can't remember.
It's
Well,
The
so I probably
23rd.
will announce that because I think the Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah.
It's the 23rd. Yeah, I would say you need to waive the bidding
Yeah,
requirement.
the bidding requirement.
I can't speak to that a little bit. This particular entity does a lot of the municipalities in the area, highly qualified, very professional. You know, with the county paying for it, I mean, I think it's important that we use somebody that's, you know, we're not going to have an issue down the road. But I know Cedar Key, Fanning Springs, as well as City of Alachua, those are just some of the municipalities, local municipalities that have used them.
City of Lotway does a real good one.
Yeah, they've been using, Alachua's been using them for years. Spoke to them, they were very, you know, highly recommended, so.
Have we discussed where these fireworks would be shot off?
Heart
Hot
Springs.
Springs? Okay. I just know,
Yeah.
just from past experience, we used to have, at my church, we used to do a fireworks show, and we were called by the dairy the next morning and said, please notify us if you're shooting off fireworks, because we spent all night chasing dairy cows. So I just wanted to know where they're being set off, if local.
Over by the ball
local
field.
Cattlemen should be notarized.
We will. They're over by the ball field, and
Good
we
point.
will. I think most of that's farmland right now, so that could be a plus over there, but we'll double check on cattle.
Do we need any special liability related to that, where the vendor would have that?
We have it all.
Okay.
He's already gave us everything for the permit, which includes his liability. Our liability will also cover us. We've already verified that. And everything's been reviewed. As a matter of fact, the permit has already been issued, because we have to do that within, I think it's 45 days. But from this company, they have to provide us a layout plan. There's a lot of information that's provided in that.
The
And one of
TDC
those is,
board also has already approved that expenditure?
yes.
Yes, they have.
Okay, you'll have a motion?
Yeah, I move that, we move forward with the fireworks, display for our 100-year anniversary celebration.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you'll have a second?
And
Second.
allow Mr. Lane to approve the contract.
And allow Mr. Lane to approve the contract.
That's
And the
good.
chairman to sign it?
Yes.
Is that part of your motion?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have a motion by Commissioner Bill Martin and a second by Commissioner Sharon Langford to approve a contract for our fireworks coming up at Hart Springs, and allow the county attorney to overlook it and allow the chairman to sign it when it becomes available. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
The next item I had was the legislative delegation, which is Friday, January 10th at 9 a.m. We probably need to talk about that a little bit, but if it's okay with the board, we just kind of talk about that at the same time we do commissioners' reports, or right before that. Is that okay?
Yep. Okay. Anything else?
That's all the items I have right now.
Okay. Mr. Lane, you have anything else?
That's all.
Okay. We'll go to the clerk of court.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My first item is a budget recap. This is as of January 2nd. So for the general fund, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $6,445,000 with revenues of $9,607,000. So we started to see some of our revenues coming in. And, you know, the general fund right now is, you know, well within where we'd expect this time of the year. In fire, we've had year-to-date expenditures of right at $297,000 with revenues of right at $821,000. Transportation, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $796,000 on revenues of $208,000. Expenditures on transportation are running, you know, basically in line with where we are for the year-to-date. We have had the large lease payments that have already been paid. In EMS, we've had year-to-date expenditures of $468,000 on revenues of $1,187,000. And in solid waste, revenue or expenditures of $240,000 on revenues of $657,000. Anyone has any questions?
Anything look, out of line to you as the clerk?
Not at this point, no, ma'am.
Okay, everybody else got any questions? Okay.
Next item, we were paying some bills the other day and realized that we had an agreement that, or we had some bills that we were paying that I didn't really know what they were for. And in kind of digging into it, found out that we had a contract that had been executed, but the board had not actually approved. So I just need to get approval of the contract for collections with Everest AR Management Group. It's a group that Fire Rescue is contracted with to assist with basically the billing for our EMS department. They do, my understanding is that they, on the front end, they look to make sure that the people have, the insurance and that sort of thing, to start the process, and then they help with the issuing. Is that?
Yeah, it's basically sort of like a quality control. Anytime you have all your patients, you have to verify their information, such as addresses, phone numbers, make sure you have the correct legal name. This particular company actually has access to the database at North Florida and Shan. So if we don't have the right information, or the patient, we weren't able to get the information from the patient, then they can actually retrieve that information updated in our system. And what this allows is when Ms. Sherry gets to the time to invoice it, all of that's already been updated and correct. And it gives her more time to just focus on the billing itself and not having to verify all the insurances. And the other thing is sometimes people will give you insurance that's invalid or an old card, so they can go in and verify it and get all the corrected insurance.
Is this something, Mr. Lang, did you look at this before? So you said it was approved before them? Who approved it?
Well, Mr. Campbell and
I've looked at it now, but I have not looked at it.
Okay. Maybe in the future, we need to make sure all contracts our attorney looks at them and brings it up.
Well, and yes, ma'am, and that is a normal practice. And I will tell you, Mr. Campbell and I did speak about this pretty in depth, working on it. And I know I told him, yeah, let's move forward with it. And I think we just got our wires crossed on how to move forward with it. We should have been, coming to the board first, but we knew, but we're actually going to be coming back to y'all actually too, maybe even with this company, because they will actually help us with billing, because currently we're about 6 months behind on billing. And it's just, we gotten busy enough that Miss Sherry can't keep up. And it's not always the busy doesn't always come from everything. They're changing the way you have to code things. They're changing your time limits. The insurance companies, as we all know, love to make things more difficult, not simple. So that will be coming back to y'all for discussion. And the great thing about this company is they're local, they're in Gainesville, and they did come highly recommended from several doctors' offices and stuff. So, but right now they're doing the quality control so that we can process invoicing quicker, making sure insurance is already correct and everything.
What the title says, a HIPAA Business Associate Agreement between them and
Well,
Gilchrist County.
you'll have two agreements. One is for HIPAA because you have to, anytime you're dealing with health, you have to agree on a HIPAA, and then your other agreement is the monthly flat
You
rate.
said this looked good to you, Mr. Lang, this agreement?
Bobby, what would it take to catch up? I mean, we're 6 months behind. I don't know what amount of money that represents, but what would it take for us to, and I'm sure our staff is doing everything they can do at this point, but I'm just wondering what we could do to catch it up.
Well, what it would do, it's just going to take additional people doing the work, and I think we would be better off. working with a contract company. We had one once before. We had some flaws that was kind of tough that we dealt with. And that's because of the way the collections part went. From the initial talk with these people, the collections are different. This would be just like having another employee. They just do the invoices and send them out. The collections still come into us. We record them, we do everything. So that'll simplify that from an auditing standpoint and some other issues. But yeah, we hope to, in February, be bringing back something from these people to help us get that collected, because I don't know how to put a dollar figure on it, but I would probably say a minimum dollar figure is $250,000 probably over 6 months, maybe even more than that. Because if you figure we bill out $800,000 or $900,000 a year, and you got 6 months worth.
I do have a question though, now that Sharon raised it. Is this a sole source entity, this Everest? Is this a sole?
No.
So at some point we should bid this, is that what you're saying? At some point? in the
Well, we're
future?
hoping
We're approving this now, not pro tunc now
Right.
for them,
But the next contract we bring to you, what we hope to have is a piggyback, where they do stuff with other people,
okay,
okay?
Yep.
So that we don't have to go out to bid,
okay.
because we
But,
get all
but
kind of
since this
stuff
is in
when you bid
effect, we
this.
want to approve it now for it not getting approved earlier,
Right,
and then come back in February with a contract with the
Yes.
piggyback off of.
yes.
One advantage of these guys, this is a very unique service. Never seen anybody, we've never found anybody else that would offer this service. So we'll definitely be part of that. But there's two portions to the EMS billing. One is pre-review before it goes into the billing system, because we pay for every report that goes in. If it doesn't get added correctly the first time, I don't want to have to make a change and then re-add it, or pay twice for that same report. So far, they've caught up over 3,000 reports that we were down and got them into the system. And that gets us our timely filing limit, which a lot of insurance companies change to 6 months. VA changed to 30 days. The VA, anything VA gets a very high priority. We still handle that 100% in-house, being a Sherry. But I think when we review the next offer, some of the thoughts we've had with them, no other company's even interested in doing anything like this. And most companies want to do what the last one did and take everything over, where we sign off all of our insurance is actually paid to them. It's a complete nightmare trying to get back out of that. And we recently had not necessarily a full audit, but some questions asked about a previous PE&T payment. They asked for some more detail on it, and we didn't have that material, and that company has gotten rid of it. We were able to actually find it through the Department of Health. We own every program that they would be using.
I make a motion to approve the agreement.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion from Commissioner Sharon Langford and a second from Commissioner Bill Martin to approve the, agreement between Everest and, Gilchrist County.
Not pro tunc.
Hmm?
Not pro tunc.
Okay.
Now for them.
Okay, if you say so.
Make it.
All right,
And don't we need to include in that to allow the fire chief to sign, since he's already signed?
Yes.
is that part of your motion?
Yep.
I'll approve it too.
Okay, and part of the motion is to allow the fire chief to sign the agreement. Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Do we need to,
The second part.
yeah, do we need to
professional services.
approve the second part as well, the HIPAA agreement?
It's a business agreement.
Okay,
I move to approve the HIPAA Business Associate Agreement.
Second.
okay. I have a motion from Commissioner Martin and a second from Commissioner Thomas to approve the HIPAA agreement. That's part of the one that we just passed on.
And
Any discussion?
to clarify, that's not per tunc, and to allow fire chief to sign?
Include that too?
Yeah.
Okay. Commissioner Thomas? Yes. All right, and that includes the fire chief. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passed.
Elections like this, that just started, it's been happening ever since I've been on the board. You know, not being able to collect and stuff.
Yeah, so billing has always seems to be a problem with billing, and it's, people not paying what they're.
Maybe this
not
will
paying.
help.
When I first started, y'all wrote off a lot of it.
Yeah, we did, and we probably still do. We used to get a report of what we wrote out every quarter.
Can we start getting that report again?
You could put it there, yeah.
Well, a lot of times it's not on our end too, because a lot of these companies, they don't get no hurry to pay you. And you have to wait on their time schedule for them to pay. I don't know if we really write it off, and we just wait and see if we do collect.
But we'll have to look at the write-offs, I mean, yeah, you write some stuff off, but you got some things you might bill at this amount, but they only pay this amount, so that creates an automatic write-off because they discount the invoice, so, we'll have to look at this.
James, do we still utilize any kind of collection process, or do we just continue
They
that?
do it ourselves. We're not sending people to those kind of collection processes anymore, the ones that affect the credit and whatnot, especially since after that private company. One, I didn't even know that some of the stuff that was left on that report, if we could legally go after it, and if we had no backup prove that we could legally go after that without violating Medicare and Medicaid laws. The other part is, the same company we were talking to has a different look on collections, where they have a company that's same thing. You send them something, whatever they collect, they give you a percentage of, but they're considered more of a gentle. They don't abuse them. You're not going to get sent to collection. They get what they can out of them, and they actually say they get a better percentage of that back. So that is definitely something we want to look at too.
No, collections isn't always a good thing.
No, it's not. And some of the people, we know they can't make it, but there are a lot of people out here that will give you their last $20 because they don't want to lose the debt. And I feel bad for taking it sometimes, but we don't pressure them at all. And as far as the write-offs and stuff now, the old billing software that was here when I got here would assign an amount to every run that comes through the system. Not every run that we do is billable. So you have to write that amount on. And then it would assign our fee schedule to every Medicare, Medicaid run. Medicare is more than half of what we collect. The fee schedule is a little bit higher than that. There's automatic adjustments in there stating that by law we can only charge this amount. So it's not considered a write-off, it's considered an infinite adjustment. No, it's about. So you see a lot less in write-off in that portion because we're not having to correct it in the system for a call that we pick somebody up off the ground. There's a $100 charge associated with it. No, we don't charge $100 for that. That's not the fee schedule. We have to essentially write that for. So we don't have as much of it, but there is stuff that can be picked up.
Thank you. Okay,
Nick?
anything else?
Yeah, the next item is committee assignments for this year.
Yeah, I'm okay with keeping what I have unless somebody else wants some of that.
Okay, with mine.
I'm okay with mine.
So what I've got.
Yeah, everybody good? I serve on the, I don't think which one it is now. Pony River Economic Council. And we've had a really, really hard time getting a meeting. We hadn't had one in a while. But it seems like every time we go to have a meeting, we don't have a quorum. And this last one that they scheduled, I was in Gainesville and I rushed to get down here to Trenton and come down here and nobody was there. And I can't get a hold of Lynn Godfrey. She hadn't answered my email, my phone call or nothing, so I really don't know what's going on with them. I know Matt Pearson usually comes. He's not in charge of it, but he usually comes. So I'm still struggling to see what's going on with them. I mean, we need to have a meeting. We're supposed to have one every 3 months, every quarter, but we just haven't had one. That's the only one I'm having issues right now. Everything else I'm good with myself. Okay.
I will reach out to Miss Diane Clifton. I notice she's still on here on 2 committees. She hasn't turned in a resignation letter for either one of those committees, so I will reach out and make sure. But one of the reasons I know she resigned from the Three Rivers is because of not being in town. So I'll reach out to her. I think she's in town right now, actually. And I'll, check with her on those two to see if she wants us to look at replacing her or not. I'm not sure, so.
I take that back, that wasn't the Swanee River Economic, it's the Transportation Disadvantage Coordinating Board. That's the one that I'm having trouble with.
Can we get an update on what committees we're on, so we will be reminded of everything that we're serving on? Because there's one that I used to attend, and it's the same type of thing he mentioned. I stopped getting invitations. I didn't know they dissolved, or if it was, or I just stopped getting the invitations. I'm not sure. So if you could send me an update, I'd appreciate it.
It's on the agenda.
Okay.
It shows a history of the last 4 years.
Okay, it's okay. I see it.
It's an attachment.
All right, thank you very much.
You're
Now,
welcome. Yep, that, it's actually a 2-page. The first page is primarily commissioner assignments. And then on the second page, there's the SVL Grant Committee, the Broadband Committee, and the Vulnerability Study Steering Committee. We do have the broadband blank on the second page. Mr. Smith, you going to continue to serve on that?
I'm okay.
So we will fill that in for this year.
The Withlacoochee River Task Force was meeting quite frequently when they were having problems, but I think they've done the necessary improvements that we haven't had a meeting with that in quite a while anyway, but I will stay on that committee in case something does happen.
Okay.
So.
Well, for the record, we'll roll everybody over.
Okay, Marion is still on there, and we're just going, Tommy's been putting, okay.
That
I
was
see
the
that
point,
now.
yeah.
For what year? Okay, thank you.
Yep, and I think that concludes my report.
Okay. All right, we'll go to the commissioner reports. Commissioner Cherry?
I don't think I have anything.
Good. Mr. Smith?
Yeah, Bill and I attended the Florida Association of Counties Legislative Conference in Tampa. I think we mentioned that last meeting, and we're representatives on several committees, and one of them is related to rural and agriculture, and we had submitted a proposal related to solar facilities and asked the State Association and the Small County Coalition to consider legislative priority, and I think we were successful in that. We presented that idea, and it got lots of support. And so I believe that discussion, if nothing else happens, actually, there were people there from the power companies, and they, we'll see the result. You never know. But at least we brought it to a higher level of awareness, and there are other counties that think like us, and that, so we'll just see how that.
Yeah, they kind of decided they'd push it right on to the Commissioner of Agriculture's table and let him look at it, because he's got some priorities on preserving farmland and trying to keep it in agriculture. And so we moved it over to his table, so it's been moved directly to the governor to take excuse me, not the governor, the Commissioner of Agriculture, Walt Simpson. So it's been moved to his table, so hopefully it will be in his radar and it will be seen.
Yep. The other thing, I guess we're going to talk about the delegation meeting with our legislative delegation on Friday, right, Bobby? And
Yes, sir.
the other thought was, I noticed reading through the past minutes, we've got some items that come up kind of like as action items. And I'd like to see us kind of, I don't know how the best way to do this is have kind of a running action item list so that we could not have to go back to the minutes to find those things. And so I don't know, just a suggestion. Anybody got an idea on how the best way to do that? I'd appreciate that, because I think it would help us to be able to follow up on that.
On items that we're working on?
Right.
Okay.
what our priorities are.
Right.
So that we have it in front of.
Yeah, one of the things we talked about was a plan for using the lime rock ripper, asphalt zipper, and doing some roads, and that's just an example. And I know there are other things, and I'm sure staff is keeping up with it. It just helps us as commissioners, I think, to be able to look at it every so often. And you can even put, we can check it off or whatever, it'll just be helpful.
I can make you a copy of my pad on my desk.
When are we gonna start using that machine we bought? 'Cause we bought it about 6 months ago.
January, I can't remember the exact day, but I'll send it to you, but it's actually a calendar date, January, it's this month. I can't remember the exact date.
I know they have been,
Is that where we're gonna do the trial part?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
They'll be here doing training and trial, and I need to send that to you
Yes.
because you got,
And then we're
it's
gonna
like-
start using it on our roads then
Yes.
after that?
yes.
We're gonna do it in my district first, right?
Well,
I've already submitted.
Let's vote on that.
we're gonna bring 5 straws.
I have turned in a work order probably for y'all on the road.
I think we're gonna need 4 more machines.
I suggest you make sure it works before you ask for it to come in.
exactly. I want them to get good at operating it before they bring it to my.
But no, I think it's the week of the.
Yeah, let me know so I can get a hold of that commissioner.
I will.
Dix County.
Well, even on the follow-up that you would mention, it's like the lady had asked us about our noise ordinance. We've talked about that. We've talked about some of the, code issues that we had with people building stuff. I mean, we've had workshops on them. Are we done with them? We're gonna add to them, or where are we at? Like on the noise ordinance, where are we at? I mean, we've looked at them, we've looked at RVs, we've looked at, a
The
bunch of
building
stuff.
department, the building
right.
inspector,
The noise ordinance, before I forget, Caitlin, January 21st this year at 8:00, and I'll get you the address where it is. So, but, thank you, Caitlin. The, noise ordinance, we spent, I'm trying to remember, we spent several times and every time we kind of kept coming back to the noise ordinance we got is as good as anything we can write. I don't know if we actually said that, but every time that was kind of the way the comments were. I got a 2-inch folder over there with notes and everything from those meetings. If y'all want to try to discuss it again, I'll be happy to discuss it, but it just seemed like we made a circle and we came back to where we started 2 or 3 times. And I'm not saying I don't mind bringing it.
No,
but.
And when she asked, I didn't know what to tell her,
Right,
because I didn't know where
But
we at.
I'll be happy to,
Well, I
and
think
most of it's handwritten notes, so.
I think our noise ordinance would have handled that if it had been handled, but apparently it didn't get handled. But our noise ordinance it's good. It just didn't get enforced.
Well, what you'll get to the point where almost every time our noise ordinance is enforced.
Yeah.
But you'll get to the point, you'll make it where they can enforce it.
Right.
Because you've made it too strict to enforce.
Yeah.
Kind of thing too. You'll have somebody at 9:00 at night or at 6:00 in the afternoon having a birthday party for a 7 or 8-year-old and the neighbor don't like birthday parties, and now you got a noise ordinance issue, kind of.
It's very difficult to,
Police.
it's very difficult to write one up that fits everybody's, criteria. I mean, you got those that work at night and they want to sleep during the day, and then you got those that sleep at night and not during the day, and so it's hard to regulate that. That's a typical one. It's a work in progress. I think we have a good one. It's just a matter of enforcing it. I think that's the problem, not that our noise ordinance needs to be changed.
The other, one of the questions that was asked last time Mr. Brandon Stubbs was here was in reference to, shelters on property, without structures. He has done some research on that. I read it over the holidays and, he's done some really good research, so I need to get back with him and we'll look at doing a workshop on that here. We probably can get it worked in sometime in February. We're pretty ready to go with that. I wanted to get back with him on a couple of things because what I want to do is send it all out to y'all to give you the opportunity to review it before we get to the workshop. So you've got some time. And then also, if you want to ask him some questions, you can ask those questions as well, and we can have maybe a few more answers when we get to that workshop. As far as the building code.
He also researched some other counties,
He
so what
did.
they were doing.
And there's some
And he's got
really
some
good ideas in
recommendations
there,
in it, too.
some really good ideas in there. The other thing on the building department, I think we pretty much are okay on that from what we determined, that most of our issues that y'all are hearing and coming from were actually from zoning type things. So,
And state.
I think we're okay there. So we plan to get that zoning back in. There's some things that's really nice. I'll go ahead and get that out this week so y'all can even start looking at it preliminary, and then we'll get that. But I think you'll see some stuff in there that you'll like. That's kind of the three I can think of now. We spoke about the zipper. We've got a date for that.
Okay.
I know I'm missing something without having the list in front of me.
You'll
but,
think of it in
yeah, about 2 o'clock.
That's it?
Do you want me to call you?
No. You'll wait.
All right, I hope everybody had as enjoyable a break as my family did. I've certainly been blessed, and we had a great time. Got a little bit of rain, which helped on our roads. Today, I saw all our crews out cutting and trimming trees still and picking stuff up. I know they're getting good use out of the grapple truck that we bought them to use, and I know it's come in handy because they're using it an awful lot. Everything's good with me. I had a lot of positive comments about the mulch, about opening up the mulch, and I think just about all the mulch is gone now.
Probably about 2 truckloads is all that's there. We estimated probably somewhere around 100 loads.
That's good. Now, they're gonna mulch what they're picking up now, or is it, because I noticed picking up some big logs today.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Okay.
What the contractors are still picking up in the DOT, yes. What we're doing that is not part of the storm, we have the incinerator and all for that, but one of the things that we're looking at is what it costs to have somebody to come in and grind it versus what it costs to sit there and run the incinerator. So we're looking at some of that, but that's going to be down the road. We don't have enough to even think about that right now.
Other than that, it's been, everything's good with us.
Commissioner Thomas?
I'm good. I had about 2 calls, complaints, and they did take care of.
Okay, I got an invitation from, Stony Smith. They're gonna have a grand opening at the Hardee's at 9 o'clock, same time of our legislation here Friday morning. Welcome to come down. Also, the Dollar General, is looking really good. They're doing the landscaping today. They started on it last weekend, and, I'm hearing the projected opening date is February 2nd. Have you heard anything, Bobby?
No, sir, I haven't.
That's what I heard
I noticed the
yesterday.
progress has been a lot. They've made a lot of progress.
They have. It looks good. They got the water tank in. They got, like I said, they're doing the groundwork now, and retention pond and all that kind of stuff. And, I'm hearing that they're gonna open February 2nd. Also, they changed the lot at 47. Have you seen that?
Yes, sir.
I've gotten a call about that.
I don't know if I agree with what they done.
Well-
They put up these, stop signs with the flashing lights on them, like 47 coming in Trenton. But they took the caution light down. They cut the poles off and hauled them off. I mean, to me, it's really dark there. Now, when you approach it, the caution light on 47, if you come to 40, the caution light will light up and come on. And then if you, on 340, the stop sign will light up and come on. But it just seems so dark there now. If you're not familiar with the area, you kind of don't know what's going on.
Well, I had a pretty deep discussion with DOT. Well, I don't know if discussion, they explained to me why they do that. That was one. That is the new standard from what they've started doing. So anytime you see a caution light like in that, if they went to 232 and did it, they would take the light down and do the same thing. They have found out, I guess, through their studies that that's safer, less accidents. That's all I know to tell you. I haven't seen, but that, it is confusing. One of the things that I recently spoke to them about, is, the striping there. If you're heading west, they changed that to come direct. There'd been a safety study done in the back, and they paid for it a few years back to curve that so you can see better. So that's probably gonna get restriped to help with the approach there heading west if you're on 340. The other thing I have talked to them about is possibly, as you'll see in some of your more busier intersections, you'll see a street light or two that helps light the intersection up.
That would be fantastic.
So they are actually adding that into their safety plan. As you know, everything takes a little while with the state, but they are looking at maybe doing some of that for us there, possibly even at 232. Just giving some highlights to some of these things. One of the things that we're actually working on too, we're trying to put a cost to it to bring to y'all, is maybe even go to some of our intersections. One of the ones I think of that y'all are familiar with is out by Midway and Priscilla Church, 232, and we've had a lot of accidents there. Simply putting a street light there that I forget what the cost is, it's very minimal to have there to light up some of these intersections maybe, but we're gonna look at some of those intersections. I'm talking with Central Florida now of what the minimum cost would be and what they could get us in due to this being a safety. So they're gonna try to work with it on that as well. So that may be some things you see us come back with you here in the future. I know we gotta be careful because these costs are continual. Once you put in some type of safety mechanism, you don't wanna remove that safety mechanism, because it is life or death safety, but that's some of the things that we're looking at as well to kind of bring to y'all, I think, to highlight some of these intersections that we've seen more accidents on that are true county roads.
I like the signs they put up. If they would have left the light to go with it to help light up the area, I think it would have been better, but they've already made that decision.
They made that one without us.
That's all I have at this time. Anybody got anything else? Public participation? Anybody like to come and speak or ask questions or anything like that?
Just real quick for the delegation, I'll be happy to get with who wants to do the speaking in the delegation.
If you need to
It's usually the chairman.
you wanna go to Stony, I can do it, but if
Yeah.
if you'd like it.
Well, he's asked me to be there and to cut the ribbon and say a prayer, so I've already obligated to do that. So can you?
If you'd like to come in, if the board's okay with it, we usually always support the fact recommendations. We got scraps, Cobb. We'll bring up about our solid waste facility, which I will tell you on the solid waste facility, we have submitted both appropriations, House and Senate they're already submitted, and we've already contacted them both. So, we've got some time so if somebody thinks of something else we might submit, we will. We're going to submit for some of our fire vehicles that we can get. We have found out it's almost like earmark money that goes to a certain pot every year. That money has to be spent on fire equipment, fire response equipment, which could be like one of the little squad trucks or something. And that is very favorable for rural communities. So that's not like a pot they're trying to put money in. It's already obligated funding. So we're going to do some submitting for that too, because we have like a squad truck in our budget and all this year. So if we could get that funded, that would be great.
You already said we made the short list on the ag facility?
Ag extension facility, we made the top 10, so we can still bring that up to them as well. Anybody got anything they want, if you'll call me, send me an email, text me, and we'll be sure we get it in there.
Can you send us the list of, I know you prepare that every year, but can you send it to all of us that way? Even if we're not here, we can talk to people as we go forward.
Sure can.
Yeah, and I will be down there as soon as it's over. I'll come, but if you will.
Okay, and if they hadn't gone and you wanna take over, I'll be glad to let you
I
do it.
should be here shortly after. My main concern is for them to work with Mr. Simpson on our solar stuff. I'm not anti-solar. I just want a little more say-so than what we have right now. And if they would recommend that they work with them closely on coming up with solutions to satisfy the residents more than anything else and make them a little happier, then that would be my.
I think the approach they're looking at is great, and I think they're more, tagging this and from, talking to Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Martin being down there, It's more of a tagline of let's protect our farmland.
Yeah.
It's not I'm anti-solar,
No,
it's let's protect our farmland.
that's the main concern right there.
And, if that means that we don't get any more solar because we're protecting our farmlands and we don't get any more solar. But it's protect our farmland, because we all like to eat.
Oh, yeah, well, we got to. And I noticed in one of the papers there that's put out by Lachue County that 538 acres up on the north end was put in, conservation.
Yes.
Where's that exactly located? Do you know there? I looked at the map and everything, but I couldn't pinpoint it. Somewhere off of 138.
Yeah, you know where Randy Emmons, and it's just, actually just north of the other facility, the solar facility,
Mhm.
where the state owns some long leaf, I guess what they call it,
Long leaf, but,
Down 337.
is that part, isn't that part of the Fort White
232 right
mitigation
there.
too? That part joins up with the Fort White
right.
mitigation sort of, and all, doesn't it?
used to be Lon Cal, land, now I think it's HLT, and
Yep.
I know we're trying to get out of here. One thing I had on my note, Gay Road, because I know everybody's been asking. We got a date today. They should be starting January 13th.
well, they started north of Bell, going north,
Yeah.
redoing 129.
I
so
told them-
they might take a little right there when they get.
I hope they take a hard ride.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were in Bell today doing it when I come through. Okay, anybody got anything else?
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Commissioner Martin and a second by Commissioner Sharon Langston to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, same sign. Go home.
Boy, I tell you, I hate it for you.